For anyone in the audience who is as big a nerd as I am, Jessica's agreed to actually give the alternative feminist perspectives on Othello's speech after the graduation. She'll just stick around up here. For this next individual, I'll share credentials and accolades in just a sec. This is a student very special and dear to me. In fact, I think the only student in this group that I personally was lucky enough to teach. Someone who was always so much more than a student, but forever my teacher, and still is. I am honored to welcome Somerset Academy Charter High School's valedictorian, Tony Morales. Tony earned a 5.23 GPA. Like Mariah, he too obtained an Associate's in Arts degree from Broward College. He will also attend the University of Pennsylvania on a Westbridge scholarship. That means a full scholarship. Plans to major in philosophy, politics, and economics. Basically, he's just going to basically start his campaign process for the presidential election of 2026. Please welcome the one, the only, and I mean that, Tony Morales.
Tony!
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Mr. Montero, I think it'd be a good idea if you went and took my seat over there for this one. If you would.
He already beat me.
Thank you.
You filming it? Yeah.
At our senior breakfast, Mr. Montero said, "I don't know what Somerset's going to do without the class of 2012.
Woo!
While I'm sure he was just mindlessly saying something that would give our class a short-lived, warm and fuzzy feeling, I don't think he really was aware of how much he should have meant that statement. You see, most people think that the Mayan calendar predicted the end of the world in 2012, but what it really predicted was the end of Somerset after the class of 2012. And so, rather than taking this moment to offer a traditional speech or a quote-based rant, I'm going to dedicate the next few seconds to giving a Somerset Academy survival guide: how to live without the class of 2012. So here goes. Step 1. Distribute packages of tissues to all faculty and staff on the first day of the upcoming school year. There's no doubt that everyone will be caught in a storm of depression after realizing that 2012 is gone, so it's probably a good idea to help clean up the process and make the miserable transition into the class of 2013 as painless as possible. Step 2. Cancel Spirit Week, Homecoming, the Multicultural Festival, and the prom. Save the money. No events will be fun or even marginally enjoyable without the class of 2012's incomparable spirit and liveliness, for lack of a better word. Step 3. Erect a large golden statue of the numbers 2, 0, 1, and 2 in that order in front of the Middle High office. It's no secret that the most successful, famous, and wealthy graduates Somerset will ever have will be from this class, so it's probably best to stay on our good side if you want donations and influential visitors. Step 4. On a mildly unrelated, though equally important note, try to minimize the number of teachers that, as Daniel put it at senior night, touch students like nobody else.
Daniel again.
Beyond whatever emotional emotional trauma students like Daniel get from those sort of interactions, it's probably best to avoid lawsuits in that regard as a general organizational practice. And before writing my fifth step on how Ms. Fai's office should be placed in the school's genders closet, a passing thought struck my mind. How would Somerset have survived without us, the class of 2012? Without Somerset, Crystal could never have run for secretary in Miss Isaac's 5th grade class. No one would have screamed out ABA at our 8th grade breakfast ceremony, which wouldn't have happened. Memorable chants of Free Kirk could never have been heard throughout the courtyard, which never would have been there to host our amazing band and dance at all of our pep rallies. Miss May, who never would have been our guidance counselor, could never have founded the BB Academy. Daniel, you know what I'm talking about? That's right. And Mrs. Stomba would never have called me maybe. Worst of all, imagine life without Doll-Free Tuesdays. That's what I'm saying. And so, from this, another legitimate thought emerged. While Somerset definitely wouldn't be what it is without us, what will the class of 2012 be without Somerset? Who will write us a survival guide for when we leave Somerset? How will we learn to handle whatever future college professor throws at us? What will we do when we get our first boss? What if we're lonely once we get to college? Somerset, as it happens, has already answered those questions for us. We'll be ready to take on any sort of professor since we've already built meaningful and fruitful relationships with amazing educators like Mr. McGrath and Ms. Vasquez, our Disney princess. And we've also had to deal with evil teachers like Ms. Golden and Ms. Fai. In truth though, Ms. Fai is actually not that evil, which may come as a shock to most of the class, since she helped me by very thoroughly editing the speech. I never thought I would say this. And if anyone's recording this speech, please stop doing so right now. But Ms. Fai, I love and appreciate you. Aww. Thank you. Ms. Golden, you're not that badass. Anyhow, regarding first bosses, there is no boss on this earth that can compare to Miss Stewart, our beloved activities director. Oh. See, Miss Stewart has the inhuman ability to switch from being perfectly compassionate, like the most ideal bosses, to psychotically tyrannical, as only Hollywood's imagination of horrible bosses can depict. Also, clearly, the friendships we've made will render nobody in the class of 2012 lonely in college or at any other point in their lives. Izzy, Jessica, Kayla, and Lorena, for example, are tethered together as best friends just as much as their initials I, J, K, and L are forever bound by the alphabet. Not only will we be ready and capable of handling whatever changes life has to throw at us over the next few years, but it's also without a shadow of a doubt that I know that the class of 2012 will be properly equipped to tackle the unforeseeable changes that we'll face. I won't be shocked if in 3 years, Skinny Thick appears as a background dancer in a Beyonce music video. It won't surprise me. That's right, Skinny Thick. It won't surprise me if in 5 years, when Kenny says his famous "join the military, bro," Kenny is a machete, by the way. He's a recruiter for the United States Air Force. I wouldn't be stunned, while hearing in 10 or so years that Josie has found the cure for cancer, Paris has become the next Ellen DeGeneres, or Tanya has created a successful campaign to reform social policy in the United States. And that's why I believe that the class of 2012 was the greatest thing to ever have roamed Somerset's halls. And no matter the delusions of glory or greatness that any class before or any class after will have, we all know this to be true. I hope each one of you carry the legacy of 2012 with you. Take the proud shouts of 2012 that we attacked the juniors with when we destroyed them at Color Wars, and return to Somerset in 10 or so years at our reunion with enough success and accomplishment to make the school itself roar with proud shouts in honor of 2012. And on behalf of my class, I want to thank all the faculty and staff, both those who are here today and those who could not make it, who will have been responsible to some extent for whatever accomplishments we will achieve. Thank you to our favorite teachers, Ms. Camus and Mr. Meyer. Beyond the grammatical functions and purposes of gerunds and participles, or the significance and implications of President Wilson's 14 points, the hours of love and dedication that you gave us, that you two gave me, have been the most meaningful gifts of all. And while I'd love to spend some more moments throwing accolades your way, I can't hog this moment to myself. I'm one person from an entire graduating class that has shared moments with other teachers, and they deserve to be recognized as well. So to call out a few memorable teacher-student bonds, I know that just as Ms. Camus and Mr. Meyer are special to me, Richie will forever be Ms. Van Kat's adopted son, Albert will always be Coach Parker's heir, Kenny, for whatever reason, will always love Mrs. Phi, and Daniel will probably continue to worship both Miss May and Mr. Carter. Thank you to staff like Lisi, Mama Luli, Angie Belangi, Claudia Monet, Ms. Francis, Jenny, Daisy, Ronaldinho, Officers Liman Meza, and even Soda, whose collective unparalleled ability to make us feel like family has impacted the lives of every single student in the class of 2012. Thank you to Ms. Stewart, who's the one person most responsible for the memories we've made and the bonds we've shared as the class of 2012. From the beginning, Ms. Stewart, we knew we were your favorite, and you've known that you were ours too. Thank you to the counselors that we've had through the years, Ms. Aguayo, Mrs. Tomalabomba, and Ms. May. American history wouldn't have been the same without you, or nearly 1/10 as interesting without you, Ms. Aguayo. The meaning of bad in all of its best ways would not be nearly what it is without you, Ms. May, and Mrs. Tomba. Starships would never have flown without you. Nicki Minaj. Thank you to our sister principals, Ms. Camus and Ms. Sobro. However harsh your disciplining looks can be, so be, and however afflicting a sting of that a chancleta to the face can be, Ms. Camus, we really do appreciate all that you've done for us. Especially that time that you made a scene in the airport so we could make it to New York City, Ms. Camus. But most importantly, thank you to our beloved principal, Mr. Montero, who's doubled as a father figure and mentor to many of us. Monty, you're the best thing that's ever happened to Somerset. Good decision, Dr. Ruth. And we're lucky to have you. Being your first set of students to have accompanied you from elementary to middle to high at Somerset, it really has been a blessing to have you as our principal. I think everyone in the graduating class would agree that without you, none of us would have flourished as we have or turned out nearly as awesome as we are. Thank you to our family, ultimately responsible for how far we've come and how far we'll go. Parents, mom, dad, thank you. We love you. And today in our graduation robes, everyone here recognizes that without your hard work and unconditional love, none of today's ceremony would be happening. Yamma, أنا بحبك أكتر من كل العالم. Uncles, cousins, and siblings who have made this possible for us. Michael, older brother, I wouldn't be on the stage without you. I wouldn't be going to an Ivy League school without you, and I wouldn't be half the man I am today without you.
Oh, sweet.
Finally, thank you to the class of 2012. If every single member of this class wasn't exactly who they are, 2012 wouldn't be the amazing class that it is. I love you all, and know you all make Somerset, our families, and our class proud. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to graduate alongside you, especially my two best friends in the whole world, Mariah O'Neill and Lisette Roberto. I love you too. And so, before relinquishing the microphone to Mr. Meyer, Mr. Montero, the reason that I asked you to take my seat as I give this address is so that I could look forward at you and say thank you. Because while Somerset might really struggle with the loss of 2012, your graduates, us, we'll be fine. Somerset has prepared us, and we're ready. It's for you, for Somerset, that I worry. Good luck coping with the loss of the greatness that is the class of 2012. Thank you.
So we should probably plan an intervention because I'm concerned Tony doesn't have enough self-confidence. I was really maybe looking forward to him sing again next year, but apparently we're not having another graduation anymore at Somerset. So thank you for coming. I guess we're done here. Really, Tony, thank you for those words.